Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone, it's Tuesday, so it can only mean one thing. It's Rob D's date night. No, it's not. It's Ask Rob and Rob. Welcome back. It's great to have you. Each week, you ask us questions, and yep, each week we give you answers. And we make it super easy for you to get your questions in.
Yes, we do. Option 1, 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. Pick up your phone, leave us a voicemail. Or if you're at your desk, not sure where your phone is, doesn't matter, go to thepropertyhub.net/ask. That's thepropertyhub.net/ask, and you can leave us a voicemail there instead. Both ways, equally good. Just make sure you do it, because then you'll get your question answered, just like Ian's about to.
Hi, Rob and Rob. It's Iain in Switzerland here. Congratulations on an excellent podcast. I've been investing in property for around 14 years, and even now I learn so much from it. I'm planning on increasing my portfolio from 3 properties, and as part of this, and to validate any deals, I've created a couple of spreadsheets. I find many property companies are very lacking on realistic costs when analysing deals, and my spreadsheet has everything considered, including PAT tests, gas safety certificates, and landlord insurance. As part of these costs, I have a row called repairs, and by standard, I've been filling this with half a month's rent. On consideration, however, the cost of repairs is probably not really related to the rent. For example, why should my simple one-bed in Surrey with electric storage heaters cost more in maintenance than my gas-heated apartment in Preston, where the rent is only half that compared to the apartment in Surrey? It seems to make no sense. So I'd be interested how you forecast these costs, possibly according to the property type, I could imagine. You also must have some experiences from the many properties you have under management at Yellow Lettings. Maybe you could share some average figures with us. Thanks a lot.
Great question, Ian. I know a lot of people often ponder on this one and what to do. I don't think there's a clear-cut answer and a standard answer which you're right to point out. And here's why. If I buy a Georgian or Victorian terrace, beautiful buildings, chances are I'm going to be forking out occasionally for maintenance. It's just expected. They're old buildings, things go wrong. However, if I buy a brand new property with a 10-year guarantee, I wouldn't expect a lot of things to go wrong. That's part of the deal, right? So I certainly wouldn't have the same proportion of money put aside for those properties. So what do you do? Personally, because I'm looking at properties that are new or newish, less tends to go wrong. And again, another one to take into consideration, I have more apartments than houses. So I do have houses in my portfolio. It is more apartments. Again, less to go wrong because the service charges will take care of a lot of the maintenance. So the answer I give you is going to be dependent on the mix of properties you have. But I tend to just leave a certain amount of money in my account for my overall portfolio, not per property. Because I kind of go, well, what's the worst case if I get a bad deal on the boiler? A couple of grand. So I kind of put that aside, and anything else really is going to be less than that number. So as long as I've got a couple of grand times 2 or 3 sloshing around in the property fund, then I'm never going to get nervous about repairs. They're going to happen at some point, and of course you need to build that fund up. But what I would do is, if funds are tight, is let your excess cash flow roll up a bit until you've got a fund you're comfortable with, and then use it from there. So there is no set answer. It's going to depend on the type of property in terms of its age. It's going to depend on the type of property. Is it a big house? Is it a small house? Is it an apartment? And it's going to really come down to your tolerance to risk. So there's multiple factors in there. For me, I don't even put it into my cash flows anymore because I just have that set fund that's already there. And actually not a lot goes wrong, in the grand scheme of things. Yes, occasionally, but if anything gets wiped out of that fund, it just gets topped up pretty soon. So that's how I handle it. I don't think there is a set formula. People seem to believe there is, but actually they don't take into account we all have very different portfolios.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's worth considering that there are 2 reasons why you might want to be tracking this kind of thing. The first is because, quite rightly, when you're making an investment, if it's a property investment, you will need to spend some money on maintenance. Therefore, if you pretended you didn't, you'd be misleading yourself when comparing it to other types of investment you could make. The second reason is to make sure that you've got enough money put aside. They are two different purposes, and the thing that you can absolutely be sure about is that you're going to get it wrong. There's no way you're going to be able to right down to the exact answer of, if I buy this property, how much will it cost me? You just won't know. So there are two things that you need to do. You need to, like Rob said, make sure that you've got enough money put aside. As long as you've got enough money put aside, if you're wrong in your calculations, then it won't materially impact you because you'll have the money to pay for whatever it is. The other thing is, in your forecasts, make sure that you're thinking about it and make sure that you're adjusting it if it's a wildly different type of property. But otherwise, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So if you're buying a flat, then you've got the service charge in there. You'll know what that is at the moment, at least. And so the maintenance will be lower. If it's a house, the maintenance will be higher. If it's a particular type of house, maybe the maintenance will be even higher. If it's a furnished property, you can expect the maintenance to be higher because there's more to break. If it's an HMO, you can expect the maintenance to be higher because there's going to be more wear and tear. It's going to be used more intensively. So as long as you're taking some kind of account for that, and you've got enough money in the reserve fund to cover yourself against any kind of reasonable eventualities, I wouldn't worry too much. I personally don't worry too much about being absolutely bang on with the amount that I'm forecasting. I have, though, in the last year, started to sort of do proper bookkeeping on my properties and track everything exactly. So by the time I've got a couple of years of data, I will know per property how much as a percentage of rent I end up spending on maintenance. Will I do anything different as a result of that? Possibly, possibly not, but it will be interesting to just see what the variance is between different properties. So that's something that you can do after you've owned multiple properties for multiple years, and you can build out that real life data. But otherwise, hopefully, you've found something interesting in that answer.
Right, Rob, I don't know why, but I've just got a hunch that this next person is very talented, good looking, and probably knows a bit about property. Who have we got?
Oh, could this be Rob Watson by any chance?
Oh, it's a Rob. Oh, excellent. Oh, okay. Let's listen to his question.
Hi, Rob and Rob. This is Rob. I have a question regarding change of address. I've recently moved house. I have a number of properties, and I had to put in quite a lot of time, quite a lot of work to get all my change of addresses done, so it would minimise the effect of my credit file. So when I went for more mortgages, it was quite a lot of work, and I'm planning on moving again. I'm just in rented accommodation for a year, so I'm planning on moving again in the next 6 months. So I was wondering if there's any tips or services that you guys use that you could recommend. I know you've spoke about traveling and living, working overseas and in different countries. So if that's something that you're doing for a longer or prolonged period, how do you manage the effects that has on your credit file? And how do you deal with having a set address for mortgage applications and the like? So yeah, that's my question. Any tips, any suggestions would be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Okay, Rob, you have quite rightly identified that moving house is a giant pain. It is awful. Having to deal with all the admin around your post and everything like that is probably actually the worst part of it, because it involves speaking to all these companies. It's a nightmare. In terms of impact on your credit file, just the act of changing address shouldn't affect it, other than you need to make sure that you are on the electoral roll at the correct address. So even if it takes you a while to get updated with every last company that you deal with, make sure that the electoral roll is correct. Make sure that you've notified the local council for council tax purposes. Those are the kinds of things that lenders are going to be looking at. So you need to make sure that those are up to date. In terms of everything else, it shouldn't affect too much. It is just a hassle. There are a few things that you can do. So the Royal Mail has got a service where they will redirect your post for a period of time. I think you can go anything from 3 months up to about 2 years. So you can pay them to do that. That just means that you don't have to do everything on day one. They will forward everything over to you. As you get something through with a forwarding label on it, you can just go, oh, okay, that's the company I need to contact. So that means some of the time pressure comes off. There are also services out there that say that they will notify companies on your behalf of changes of address. I've never used anyone, so there isn't anything in particular that I can recommend. But if you Google it, you'll find a few options, and it might be worth a try because, let's face it, anything that can reduce the pain a little bit has got to be worth it.
Great answer, Rob. So, Rob, thank you for your question. It's going to start getting confusing now, isn't it? I'm going to stop. What isn't confusing is how you sign up to the Property Hub magazine. We've made it super, super easy now. Get your phone out and text. You don't even have to call. Just text. Lazy people, this is easy. Text prop mag, leave a space, put your email. So that's prop mag, all one word, leave a space, put your email, and text 88802. You will then be sent a link where you can casually and in a relaxed manner subscribe to the magazine. And then you will become, like Rob Watson, very talented, good looking, and everything else complimentary that I can think of. So make sure you do. But in all seriousness, it's an absolutely awesome magazine. Thousands subscribe already. So we wanted to make it easy for you to do so. And now we have.
You really painted a picture of the experience for me there, Rob. I enjoyed that. So do pick up your phone and do that. Then pick up your phone again on Thursday to listen to the Property Podcast. Because like every Thursday, we will have half an hour-ish of solid property education for you, no strings attached, and it's going to be a good one. So until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.